I'm Amanda. This is Jared from Fit to Last, and we have just been loving over the last 3 days delivering these masterclass series. Hey,
it's been very cool. It's been a very good experience. We've had a lot of good feedback.
Well, it's interesting actually.
A lot of good just content in general from you guys.
We've actually received a lot of DMs from people about like they've copied us in on their homework missions or
if you grew up in our generation, that means deep and meaningful.
No,
isn't that what you used to say?
Direct message.
No, that's what you used to say, right? We're going to have a DM.
D and M.
That's deep
but
and meaningful.
DM is direct message. Come on, get in the 2021, man.
I don't want to be.
So we've had a lot of people contacting us, which is really awesome to know that you guys are just loving the series so much and you're getting a lot out of it. And yeah, we love that. So if you are watching this live or you're even catching a replay,
or you want to have a deep and meaningful with us, just DM.
Well, what I was going to suggest is we would actually love to see you guys post that. Like post it up in our free Facebook group because that's where we've been advertising this series.
Yeah, that's where our community is.
That's where our community is, and we would love.
You're gonna come up with cool names then too.
We would love to start a bit of a conversation in there about what your experience has been through the series. So post it up in our Fit to Last free Facebook group. That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
All right. So what are we diving into today?
What's the topic? You're the one that gives the topics.
Okay. I'll give the topic.
I'm just the guy that makes the jokes.
So, of which, by the way, if you have watched the last two masterclasses, I can officially confirm now that apparently we are 1-1 in terms of who's the funniest.
Yeah. It's a good thing popular opinion doesn't count for much.
We'll see. So today's topic is all about what we think is the most underrated thing in the health, wellness, or in fact any industry in terms of getting success and actual results. And it's hilarious because it's such a simple thing.
Look, everything in this whole masterclass series, I feel like, comes back to a very, very simple thing. Let's be honest, most of the answers for what we look for in life are actually not complicated. We just make them complicated. Yeah? It's not that they're hard. The answers are not hard. It's like, how do you save money? Well, spend less than what you earn. That's not a hard equation, is it?
That's right, yeah.
It's not complicated, but we make it complicated with all the things that we do and all the stuff that's out there.
So we're going to be talking about what we think just the absolute most underrated thing is about basically being successful in anything that you want.
Yeah.
And but before we dive into that, we wanted to do a little bit of a recap over the last couple of days. So what have we talked about?
This is like our countdown.
Yeah, so by now you might have completed the 2 homework missions we've given you, which was all about what?
The homework, I don't do homework.
Okay.
I'm the one that doesn't do the homework.
Okay. Well, I'll remind you.
You refresh my memory.
So we talked all about with you guys, like coming up with yesterday was all about coming up with your what and your why and knowing why the why is the most important part of your what. Okay.
So in other words, why do you want the thing, not just what it is that you want?
And that your why is the reason why you will create discipline and resilience around actually achieving the thing and gaining the results, and becoming very specific about what it is that you want. We talked about the barriers versus excuses.
That's my favorite one, I think, excuses versus barriers.
And why... or coming up with, the things that you have maybe been using as an excuse versus a barrier as to why you haven't achieved the thing yet. And we talked about all of the problems that you have in your life, how long they've been a problem for, how long you've been on the problem merry-go-round, and so forth. So
and what was
here
number
we are
one?
today.
Have you forgotten lesson 1 already? Lesson 1, let me just drop like a truth bomb here now. It's all about insanity. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Insanity and doing the same thing repeatedly and why you're expecting a different result from that. And that's another really big thing for us to not forget about. We do keep doing the same thing over and over and over. And humanity has a track record of never learning from mistakes. Right? We do the same thing repeatedly and we say, why did it not do something different this time?
Yeah, it's been funny, some of the feedback I was saying we were getting that slid into our DMs. That was very hurtful, wasn't it?
Continue.
And, it's like the realization, it's like the light bulb moment where the penny dropped. that
we got there. It took three whole sessions when we got to that.
Where
can you click? Can you drop?
Stop.
Can you do other things?
You know, where people have realized like what the thing is, what the reason why,
so
the insanity, the thing they're doing over and over.
As this is a no BS series, and look, although we are very lighthearted with a lot of things, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I personally don't take a lot of crap when it comes to excuses and reasons why things don't happen. And I'm very black and white with a lot of things. I know we love to talk about grey these days, and that's true. Grey areas are good. But at the end of the day, none of this is hard. None of this is hard.
Mm.
If you do the same thing repeatedly, you're going to get the same result. Okay? It's that simple.
Mm.
If you eat the food, the same food every day, it's not going to taste any different. You can't try it again the next day and go, maybe I'll like it more. You won't. It's the same thing. Barriers, excuses. It's all here. There's so many simple solutions to things.
I think if we were to sum it up, it's not that a lack of achievement is your problem.
No.
It's not that you're not motivated. It's not that you don't have the energy or the time or the money or the resources. It's potentially that whatever it is that you've chosen or how you've chosen to do it just isn't aligning with you. Okay?
Yeah.
Because you will only ever create magic and success and results when it aligns, right? Everything has to move on the tracks simultaneously together to get a result. Okay, so write that down for me. Achievement is not my problem. Alignment is.
In other words, what Amanda's trying to say there is that you basically, you cannot have these things pushed onto you. You cannot pick goals that just don't make sense for you, or things that are 100% out of your realm of expertise or influence or achievement. It's like, as we grow up sometimes and our parents try to force us, and you see this a lot, force you to follow in their footsteps. You have to take over the family business, or, I'm grooming you to become a doctor, so you're going to go to university and you're going to take on these courses. Whether that works for you or not, whether that's your headspace or not, it's something you enjoy or not, it doesn't matter. It's a very hard thing to achieve those goals because they're just not things that work for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like, if it doesn't align with you, then it's a pretty sure sign that the goal's just been imposed on you from like an outside.
And you may
right?
get it. You may get it, possibly, but it's going to be damn near impossible to get there.
So one of the things that we teach with our clients in our Goal Getter coaching program, like, it's such a simple formula, and I touched on this yesterday. I don't know whether you guys have heard this before or not, but the formula that's really simple about, setting goals and being able to stay motivated by the result of them. We follow a process called the SMART process. That the goals are specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're results-based, and they're time-based, or there's a timeline and urgency on them. And we dive a lot deeper into that, into like our coaching program. But basically the outcome of that is that you can literally track how you are going at each step of that goal, which then is a yes or no. Is this aligning with me? Hell yes, it feels good. I'm going to keep going. Absolutely. It's like, let's say you wanted to buy a house, right? Well, if you don't know the first thing about buying a house,
then it's not a goal.
Well, probably the first thing you need to do is go and seek some advice from someone who can help you with that. Mm-hmm. Then you would need to set some money goals, maybe around saving for a deposit. So you might need to create a savings account that's like a bank account where you're just saving for your house. And, so we take you through step by step by step by step.
Yeah. So in other words, just saying, I want to buy a house this year, it's not a goal.
Well,
because
it is, but there needs to be a measurable process.
It's a very out there. So basically the idea of an explanation of a goal that would not fit into this would be something stupid like, okay, I want to become the next US president. Okay, when do I want to achieve that by? I don't know, sometime before I die. How are you going to get the money for that? I'll figure it out as I go. All these sort of little things that just, you can't measure them. They don't make sense. There's no timeline to it. You've got to have the thing that you want to do. You've got to know why you want to do it.
Yeah. How
long are you going to give yourself to do it? How can you measure that success?
So what you're saying, is when it's measurable, it means that you actually have a physical, tangible piece of paper there that you are measuring goal again, so you can see
Yep.
your progress. So yeah, that's a process that we teach, and it works like literally every goal we've ever come up with. Hey, it works amazing. And one of the things that I really resonate with, and I know you love this as well, it's a little quote that we love. It's called, "Vision without execution is just a hallucination." And I was doing a live video on this morning, but basically I was talking about, like, if you don't take some action on the thing, it's not actually a goal. It's just a thought, a hallucination, a vision, a one day thing.
So basically,
right?
that sentence explains almost every New Year's resolution out there, where at the beginning of the year, people just say, I want to do this. And that's it. They never take a single step towards it, or they take one step. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You can have all the dreams in the world, but if you don't start to do anything that moves you towards it on your own, getting help, doing whatever it is, then it doesn't matter. It's all just in the wind.
Yeah, which then if we refer back to yesterday and the timeline of how long motivation lasts for, well, no wonder your motivation's dying out. You've had no result.
Yeah,
right.
You haven't created it at all. So something that we like to do too, a little exercise, and if you have a piece of paper, those of you that still use paper these days, grab a sheet. You can always come back and do this afterwards, but this is something called the change quadrant. And what I want you to do on your piece of paper is draw a line down here and a line across this way. You're making like a cross. Yeah, that's all I want you to do. And you're going to put on one side your goal achieved. And on the other side, you're just going to put not achieved. So let's say you've got your little cross here, and on this side, we're going to look at what the goal is. If you achieve the goal, on the top line, you're going to write down, what is the best thing that could happen if I achieve this goal? And then underneath that, you're going to put, what is the worst thing that could happen if I achieve this goal? We're going to move to the other side of the paper. You're going to think, if I don't achieve this goal, what's the best thing that can possibly happen out of this? What's the worst that can possibly happen? Okay, does that make sense? So if you get the goal, what's the best thing? That you feel the way you want to feel, that your life starts to change the way you want it to change. What's the worst thing that could happen? It's probably not a lot of things. Maybe I sacrifice some Netflix along the way. If you don't get to your goal, what's the best thing that can happen? Well, I guess things carry on as normal, don't they? That's about it. What's the worst that can happen?
Maybe isn't awesome.
No, but it's probably the best of a bad situation. And then what's the worst thing that can happen to you out of that? Well, there's a whole lot of things that can happen if you don't achieve that goal. You don't take any steps towards it. You're going to feel worse and worse and worse and worse because you know you want to do it, but you're not, I guess you don't understand how to take those steps towards it. Or maybe you haven't got the discipline to do that, or you're just relying on day-to-day motivation.
So we like to call that the change quadrant. And it's really cool. It's such a simple way that you can just measure the worst and like the best and worst case scenario, because often what happens is when, you know, we're thinking about doing something, a lot of the time, things like fear, uncertainty, you know, stress, whatever, anxiety will creep in because we don't know the end result of what happens when we take action. And they're normal things for a human to feel and experience.
But what does fear lead to when you're setting goals? Fear leads to self-sabotage. So when you set a goal and you're like, okay, I kind of understand how to do this. I know the steps. And then you start to get a bit scared about, I'm not sure if I can do this. I'm not 100%. Then you start to self-sabotage. Then the excuses, like we talked about yesterday, then the excuses creep in. Oh, yeah, no, I haven't been able to do that yet because of X, Y, Z. Oh, no, I'm not going to get to that stage.
The justification for the reason why you sabotage, because you're just fearful of the uncertainty.
And then we go back to, oh, no, that wasn't the right goal. I didn't really want that. And then you feel bad about it because you didn't achieve those things. And then we look back, and this is where regret comes in. We look back at the year and we think, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have taken those steps. I wish I would have just spent that little bit of time, because now I'm still in the same place that I didn't want to be.
It actually, that kind of sparked a thought for me around.
Well, it has to happen sometime.
It does, every now and then. But it actually, before we move on, if you guys are listening to this live as well, like, let us know in the comments.
Maybe this sort of resonates with you.
Yeah, or just like if you've had any golden nuggets or anything along the way. And, you know, have you ever tried something like the change quadrant or the like actually putting down measurable pieces in place for your goals? We would love to know. But what I was going to say is that the thought that I just had around, what you were saying is like, let's take 2020, for example, where, worldwide pandemic, so much uncertainty and change. And that was something that the whole world had to get used to. And
it took us all by surprise.
I think so. And I guess it's kind of like a lot of things that just take us by surprise, right? You didn't just like get born overweight and you were just surprised by that. You didn't just like have some challenges with your mental health and not see it coming from a mile off. Like those sort of things creep up on you without you kind of realizing that they're happening. And I think with what
until we're in the worst case scenario.
Absolutely. And then it's only then when we're in the worst case scenario that we actually go, damn, that like this is a problem now, right? And without recognizing before that you were on the way, like that was the track that you were on. And I just think, like, I don't know about you, but I think that last year that was really amplified by uncertainty, change.
Yeah, the whole year was uncertain.
All the things. And now that, there's things like working from home, technology, businesses have created all different ways to be able to do things now, that it's a lot easier for people to be inside, right? And I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that when you're inside and you don't have to go out in the outside world, what you're effectively creating around you is a four-wall front door barrier where, we talked about barriers yesterday. That then becomes your barrier.
Is it a barrier though? Or is it a barrier at first, but then it kind of gets used as an excuse?
It probably depends on what country you're in and
absolutely.
You're in lockdown right now.
But for here in Australia, we're pretty free to do what we would like to do, and we're pretty free to go back to most normal things, with some exceptions, but most normal things. I think at the beginning, last year, it was certainly a barrier. There was a lot of physicality there that just said you can't do the thing. That's it. We got to adapt. Now that things have changed back, we need to readapt to being part of, I guess, the world again. Well, and not letting these things stop us.
And I don't think that things are going to go back to the way that they were, but it's it's an opportunity, I guess, to be able to do things differently again and not create that four-wall front door barrier for us where we're just, not taking action on anything. We've had a question come in, hey?
Yes.
Read that out?
Shall we read it out? Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a question. I've been working a lot with manifestation and intention settings. When setting my intentions and you feel super confident that it's going in the right direction and then it doesn't quite turn out how you expect it to, how do you recover from that and just keep going? This is such an amazing question.
And it's kind of not said in that way, but it's a question you do get.
I have a really cool answer, but I'd love to know.
No, go for it. No, go first.
That.
If you've got something you want to say with it, please do.
So this is such a great question. Thank you so much. Can you bring it up again so I can just read it while I'm talking? But sometimes what happens is when we set an intention or we're wanting to manifest something into our lives, it can take like a day for that to happen, or it can take a month, or it can take 3 years. We never quite know when we're going to receive, the thing that we're desiring. Sometimes it will come to us in a way or in a process that we didn't put the intention out there for it to come to, and it can feel a little bit confusing or conflicted. Like, why has this come to me? That's not what I asked for, Knowing that everything happens for you, not to you, is one of the most beautiful ways that you can sort of operate your mindset and just trust that the thing that you're receiving is happening for you, because maybe there's something that you needed to learn or experience along the way to be able to get to the end of that goal. So I don't think it's a matter of like just fob it off and keep going and find my motivation and energy again.
Yeah, not motivation.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for you to see what is there left that I need to learn or experience, and what is it out of this situation that I can take into the thing that I want to receive.
And the other thing I would say to that too is that are you making that judgment too quickly?
Yes.
That it hasn't turned out the way you wanted to. Is that an appropriate time for that to happen? Have you given it the time? And I see this a lot with why I coach people in business, especially, or we see it in fitness a lot too, where I'm setting all the right things and I'm doing all the right things, but it just hasn't happened yet. Okay,
Well,
but maybe if you're part of the way there. Maybe it's only happened in small stages. Maybe it's not exactly where it needs to be yet.
You didn't put the 5 kilos on overnight. That maybe took a year.
The old saying that Rome wasn't built in a day still is relevant to all of this, that sometimes it's not. Maybe right now it doesn't feel like you've gotten to where you wanted to be, but maybe it hasn't been enough time for you to get to completely where you want to be. I would reevaluate it and see, measure it, like we just talked about with goals, measure it. Have you seen some improvement? Have you seen some of the things changing a little bit more towards the way that you want to be? Have you done all the things that you can physically do to make that a reality? Because sometimes we do. We put in a little bit of effort. We put in 60%, 70%, maybe not everything. And I say this with people. This is just totally off topic in regards to the subject matter, but I do it with business all the time, and I see people start things and they say, oh, it's failed already. Okay, did you do enough advertising? Did you really advertise that to the absolute best of your ability to get it out there? No, not really. Okay, so how can it be a failure? Did you do this? Not really. Okay, well, how can you say it's a failure when you haven't done all the things that you can possibly do to make it a reality?
For sure. And I think what's interesting on the flip side of that, and this is something that, so Jared and I actually have a couple of coaches that we do business with. And, one of the business coaches in the course that we're going through with her, she was saying, like, what you need to do is validate, we're just talking business right now, right? What you need to do is validate that there is supply out there for your thing, right? So if we're using, validate that there's demand out there for the thing that you want. Now, if we're just using the example of did you advertise your business enough, and the answer was yes, and then you still didn't get the result of that, okay, so maybe, like we talked about yesterday, you need to course correct. And the question that came in, I'm manifesting and putting intentions out there for the thing. It might not be necessarily that that's the thing that you want or desire. It's a variation of something else, and you've been going on this journey. But if there's no
one's interested,
if there's no demand for it, then you might need to course correct a little bit
and just change it a little bit
and tweak it, And that thing that did come in for you that you're like, this isn't what I asked for, is actually the sign that says, hey, like, here's the sign that you need to course correct. Yeah. What are you going to learn from this?
And often this comes from our stubbornness.
Yeah.
Our stubbornness.
Ego.
But this is the thing that I wanted, though. I don't actually want that. I want this. Okay, but that's not going to work. Sometimes that's not going to work because there isn't demand for it. There isn't enough interest in it. It's just not the right place or the right time for it.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps.
Is that helpful?
We got a thumbs up. So I take that as a yes.
Yeah. They say thanks, learn the lessons from that step, and keep moving.
Correct. And keep moving forward. Doesn't matter what it is.
Absolutely.
These things do not happen fast. No goal is achieved overnight. Just not a reality.
Yeah. One thing I like to say to my clients often when, I'm sure you guys have said it. I've said it. Everybody's said it. Oh, I feel like I've got one step forward, 2 steps back.
Happens
Another step forward, 2 steps back. You know what I call that? It's just a cha-cha. It's just the cha-cha of life, and it doesn't mean that the step back is a step back. It's just an opportunity.
Yeah, okay? There is no goal or business or process in life where it's always steps forward. Every time is a step forward. Yeah. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Nothing does that.
If you do find a world where that exists, though.
You even look at...
I would love an invitation.
I do a lot of study on interest in business and stuff too, and you watch even some of the biggest companies in the world, their trajectory doesn't always go up. Every year it's different. It might dip, then it might rise again, then it might dip, then it might really drop, then it might go back up. It's the ebbs and flows of life, really.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like if your weight loss journey means that every single week there's significant loss of weight. Sometimes there's nothing. And then the next week there is again.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay. And
so if you feel like, by now you've done the homework from day 1 and you've done the homework from day 2 and you're like, yes, I'm clear on my why and all the stuff that I've been doing on the merry-go-round of, same, like, I'm so clear now. but you still don't, like, you're still a bit stuck,
which is
which is so normal. And I just touched on this before. Like, honestly,
does this go back to our topic?
The most underrated thing that you can do for yourself, and it's so simple, is go and seek some help. Surround yourself with people who have done it for you. Fast track yourself to actually getting on the right track to the thing that you want. And it goes back to what I was saying before about COVID and putting yourself in that four walls, front door barrier.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to hide behind those barriers now.
Yeah.
Like, we honestly, truly believe that the most underrated thing you can do is just asking for help.
Yeah. And what Amanda's really talking about there, and it's going to sound cliched as hell.
Well, love a cliche.
But it doesn't matter because it's true, is get a coach for something. There is a reason why this industry exists. There is a reason why there are coaches in every single field. And I mentioned this in
we talked about it the other day, didn't we?
The very first masterclass. Because if you think about it, if you could do it all yourself, you would all be doing it. If you could do it all yourself, you would already achieve every little thing you set your mind to. Yeah. And there's a very small percentage of the population that can do that. Look at, I said this before, I want to rattle off a list of people who have coaches for the things that they are the best at. Just because you're the best at something doesn't mean that you don't need help. Personal trainers have personal trainers to train them.
We've had trainers.
Business coaches have business coaches. They don't have to be better than them. They don't have to be better than you. They're just someone else who can point out the things that you're not thinking about or keeping you on track, because as individuals, sometimes we get tunnel vision, or we do the opposite and we get this too wide a field of vision where we're seeing all the extra things that are not relevant. Coaches either help you focus or see the things you can't see.
One of the things that I find so beneficial of having a coach in lots of different realms of my life. Like, I have a mindset coach, I have a business coach, have had in the past a personal training coach. Now I have you who trains me. Like, and it's not that I can't do business by myself. It's not that I don't have a great mindset by myself. And it's definitely not that I can't train myself. What it is, though, it's accountability. It's showing up when I don't feel like it for an appointment that I committed to. It's someone that's going to help me find my way around, over the top, through obstacles, that when I get tunnel vision and emotional about something, that they can see it from an outsider's bird's eye point of view in all the different other areas.
I think as people, we try to think of, I don't need to spend money on that. I need to do it all myself. The reality is, it's a time versus money thing. Do you want to just go on the right track and make the damn thing happen, or do you just want to learn it the hard way?
Yeah.
And it does happen. I mean, I'm going to rattle off a list of people. The world's best singers and artists out there all have singing coaches. Michael Jackson used to have a dancing coach and dancing teacher and choreographer. Now, he was listed as one of the world's absolute best at that. He still needed someone else to hold him accountable, to help him out, to watch the things that he needed to improve on. Because that's what it is. All the world's best athletes have people who train them. All the best football teams are reliant on their coach. And often it's funny when you look at this in regards to sports, a coach makes or breaks that team. You can have a team that consistently wins the grand final every year, and they switch out that coach, and what happens? It all goes to hell sometimes.
And that kind of refers back to our thing that we were saying in the beginning about everything has to be in alignment, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've got to align with your coach as well. You've got to have a relationship with them. They have to be aligned with you
to help you do what you want, not what they want.
So honestly, there's no secret to it. There's no, rocket science to whatever. And
it's not
we truly think that is so underrated.
Yeah, and it's not about a sales thing either, really, at the end of the day. It's a reality thing. If you want help with something, get someone who can do that. Get someone who already knows how to do it and will help you actually get the thing that you want.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why. Why do you think gyms exist? People have home gyms. You can do that at home. You know that. You can do that. You don't need anyone else to help you.
Yeah.
You actually do.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, we have our own coaches that we would not know the benefit of it had we not invested the time and energy into it, right? Yeah. So, anyway, that's what we think is just the most underrated thing, is asking for the help. And it brings us to our next point, actually.
Our final point.
Yeah, while we
So you can enjoy the
wrap
rest of
up
your
the
day.
masterclass series is we wanted to tell you guys about, well, first of all, we actually hope that that was helpful. Drop us a comment. Let us know whether that was really helpful for you.
Get the help. Don't rely on it yourself.
But yeah, what we wanted to let you know about before we wrap this up is our new program, actually. It's the Goal Getter coaching program, goes for 12 weeks, and it kicks off this Sunday. Now, what we've decided to do is just limit it to only 10 people. We decided we wanted to keep it really intimate and personal so we could focus on these sorts of things rather than doing it with heaps of people.
We didn't want it to be a generic kind of thing.
Aren't going to get the result, right? Yeah. So anyway, it's a 12-week coaching program. If any of this in the Masterclass series has resonated with you about wanting to get very clear about what it is, your why, and actually start receiving some results, it doesn't matter whether it's health, fitness, wellness, career, financial, all the systems that we teach work for every single industry. And so do you want to tell them a little bit about what's in the program?
Well, it's based on the 3 pillars that we always talk about, which is health, fitness, and nutrition, like mindset, nutrition, and health. And we give you guides, we give you things that's specifically tailored to what it is that you actually want. And that's the important thing, that it's not just, here's an exercise guide, here's an eating guide, here's some mindfulness stuff, off you go. Because that's not helpful.
No,
that's something that you can do to anybody. You can just send that stuff out, you're done. We wanted to make sure that it was something that we can work in small groups and actually give you guys what you want, tailor it a little bit more to what it is that you actually want to do.
Yeah.
And so we can give you some face time.
Over the course of 12 weeks, every fortnight, you get to have a call with us. And that's where we actually talk. You're in the hot seat with us. You get to
ask all the questions.
go through the weekly theme with us. Use us. You go through the weekly theme that we set out for you guys, and then you get to actually use us to hone in specifically one-on-one with you. Yeah, which is really cool.
And the No BS holds you accountable for when you're not doing the stuff, and don't give us excuses why you didn't do it.
We've chucked in a whole lot of extras as well. There's a free membership to our our on-demand library, and there's nutrition guidance, which we've got teamed up with our nutritionists that we work with. There's a whole lot of mindset workshops and tools and strategies that we go through as well. Yep. We'll pop the details of the program in the in the show notes where you can actually read about it. But we just wanted to let you know that it kicks off this Sunday, the 31st of January, and we've actually still got a few spots left.
Not many, but there is a couple.
Yeah.
And we had a special offer for the people who did the register for this MC, whether you're watching it now or you're watching it on the replay, which I think is most people because it's in the middle of the day.
So we're actually not going to advertise this anywhere publicly. So if you're hearing this, the invitation is for you. If you jump into our Goal Getter program over the next 48 hours, so by the end of this week, then we're actually going to gift you a one-on-one call
free consultation
with us
as well.
Yeah.
To really get serious about what it is you want. So a little bit
totally
more
personalized
than what you're going to get in the group again.
So if that sounds like you, like I said, we'll drop the link below where you can check out the registration for it. There are still a few spots left, and you can jump into it. There's a couple of different options on how you want to do it. And if you have got in within the next 48 hours, all you need to do is just reply back to the email that you'll get sent after this masterclass and let us know, and we'll book you in for your one-on-one.
Hit us up if there's anything we can help you with, Emma.
Absolutely.
We're always there to do that. This is our little community, and we love working with you guys. We love helping people because it's stuff that, it's like you do in this industry. When you've achieved it or you've been through it, you want to help other people do the same thing. Especially when you realize that it's not that hard.
It's just so simple.
Yeah. So anyway, that's enough from us, I think.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the Masterclass series. As always, we welcome your feedback. So please drop us a comment, slide into our DMs, reply to the emails, all the things. We're so excited to create another video series very soon.
Yep, more stuff coming.
For now we'll be kicking off the Goal Getter program on Sunday. So again, if this sounds like you, drop us a line and we'll show you more about it. Otherwise, you can click on the link.
Pleasure to see you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.